So LinkedIn to me is less of a social media platform and more of a relationship building tool. And as such, it's the closest thing to face-to-face networking that you can get online. And the analogy I like to use when it comes to sort of face-to-face networking and LinkedIn is that your LinkedIn profile, it represents you in your network, in your networking face-to-face. It's your 60 seconds, it's your professional brand online. Then your connections is your network. The people that you're connected to are the ones that you're going to be networking. And obviously the fact LinkedIn, you can, connect with anyone that you couldn't normally meet face to face. So you could network with people locally, regionally, nationally, internationally, if you wish. And then your activity, so what you post and how you engage with your network, are the conversations that you're having in a face-to-face setting. So being active on LinkedIn is really important. So it's a given, isn't it, that we connect with people that we meet out and about and when we go networking. And we collect their business cards and we go to LinkedIn and we connect with them. But LinkedIn gives us a couple of tools which are really useful to help facilitate this. And my favourite is the LinkedIn QR code. So if you go to your mobile and go to your LinkedIn app and go to the homepage of the app, you'll see the search bar right at the top. And then there's this little icon here in the search bar on the top of the home page there. If you click on that, it opens this window and you can either scan somebody else's profile or QR code, or you can go to my code and somebody else can scan yours. And basically you can just go in and scan somebody's code and it brings up their profile where you can either message them or connect with them. So I really like that tool. That's quite cool. You've then also got Find Nearby, again from the mobile app. So this time you want the network tab, which is at the bottom of the screen. And this time you'll find Nearby just in the middle of the screen there. Now you do need to have Bluetooth enabled here. So this isn't as good as the LinkedIn QR code. It works if there's a group of you and you're quite close by and you all turn it on and then you can all connect quickly with each other. But you can't just like wander around with it turned on, because if nobody else has got it turned on, you're not going to see anyone. So I'm not quite sure what the benefits of that is. But, it's a tool, it's there, it's good to know about. So I said that your LinkedIn profile represents you and it's your 60 seconds. So it is your professional brand online and it's working for you 24/7. So it's always networking. It's always on networking. So it's really important, isn't it, that people can come to your profile at any time of the day or night and suss you out. So you want to make sure that you've got a good profile, good photo, and a profile that tells people what it is you do and how you help. So if your profile is like your 60 seconds, unfortunately, you don't actually have 60 seconds. You probably have less than 10 seconds, because if you don't grab somebody's attention when they come to your profile almost instantly, they're pretty much gone. And you could argue, I guess, as well, that if somebody's got a rather boring 60 seconds, we probably do switch off in that same amount of time as well. So it's really important that you've got good photos, use your header banner as well to help brand your profile, and use the headline to actually tell people what it is you do and how you help. Now, this particular workshop didn't really want to go into what you need to do to update your profile. However, I do have an ebook called 1 Hour to a LinkedIn Profile that gets you found and noticed that, should you wish, please do get a copy of that. You can email me, message me on LinkedIn, and I'll be more than happy to send you that. So you can use that to polish your profile up if you feel it needs a bit of polishing. So I mentioned that your connections is your network, and you can connect with anyone in the world and meet people that you couldn't normally meet any other way. So it is a really, really great tool in that respect. But for me, my favourite use of the LinkedIn network is being able to leverage who you know to help you introduce people you want to know. It's great for introductions and referrals, and if we think about it, that's what face-to-face network's all about, isn't it? It's about building that know, like and trust, getting to understand people and what they do and trust them, so that you're then happy to actually recommend them and introduce them to other people. So in order to help us use LinkedIn for that process to find people that we could introduce, I'm just going to go through the steps. So first of all, we have one-to-ones, don't we, with people. So prior to a one-to-one, what you want to do is review that person's connections. Now, in the workshop, there's a chap called Nigel, a lovely man, who is looking for introductions to accountants. And if he said to me, Judy, do you know any accountants? I'd be like, oh, can't really think off the top of my head. But Nigel, please go and have a look through my connections and see if I know any accountants, I'd be more than happy to introduce you to. So Nigel can go and have a look at my connections. He wants to create a list of about 10 people that he thinks would be good introductions for him. And then we're going to have a one-to-one, and in that one-to-one meeting, we can then whittle down, to that list to about 1 or 2 targeted people, because obviously just because I'm connected to someone doesn't mean to say I know them. So we need to make sure that you need a fairly sort of good sized list to go up first to work out if there's 1 or 2 people that I can introduce him to. So what I'd like to do is show you how you can actually go through somebody's connections. So here I am, I'm over at Louise's profile. Now Louise very kindly volunteered to demonstrate this for me when I did this in the workshop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here to Louise's profile where it says See Connections. And can you see how the icon changes from a hand or from an arrow to a hand? So that indicates to me that her icon, I have to speak properly, her connections are open. So I can click on that. LinkedIn whizzes away. Come on, LinkedIn. Nice and quick for me. Okay, lovely. So you can see it's showing me 995 results. So I am seeing, you can see up to 1,000 people when you do this, of somebody's connection. So, there's plenty of people there to go at. So obviously that's way too many. So I need to use the filters within LinkedIn to actually filter down and find who it is I do want to connect with. So if you look at her connections here, I'm just going to click on this. And I've got first and second here. So I don't need to know the people that Louise and I are already directly connected to. So I'm going to untick that and I'm going to click on apply. And that's going to reduce the number down by taking out the people where we have shared connections. So it's now only showing 774. So importantly, so if you see Lee here at the top, he's a second degree connection. That means he's a second degree connection to me. He's directly connected to Louise. And because I'm looking at Louise connections, he's actually a second connection to me, but a first degree connection to Louise. So what I'm going to do now is actually drill down and find people that I want to get in front of. So up here is what's known as the basic search field. It's actually a keyword search field, and in here I'm going to look for accountants. So I'm going to just put the word accountant in this keyword search field here and then click on the magnifying glass. And that's going to go through all of these 774 results, all those people that Louise is connected to that I'm not. And can you see that it really brings that list right down to 22 results? So what LinkedIn is doing is looking to see where the word accountant is in anywhere of those 744 results there were. So they could be anywhere, it could be in the headline, in the job title, in a past experience, but it's showing me that Louise has 22 people that she's connected to that have got the word accountant somewhere in their profile. So this is a good start. This might be enough. You can have a look through here, maybe go, right, who's interesting, who's not interesting, etc. At the same time, that 22 is still quite a big list, so you might want to filter down a little bit more. So what we can do is click on all filters here. And we can do maybe search by location. So if you wanted Leeds, Wakefield, Sheffield, you can either click on Leeds here, or I could type in Wakefield. And can you see the drop down? It has to be from a drop down. And I could choose, or I could choose an industry down here. So can you see I've got accounting? I could choose accounting as an industry. So I'm just going to take these filters off, because if I have too many, they're going to be down to 0. Then click on apply. And it goes down to 7 results. So I started off at something like 995. We took off the first degree connections, it went down to something like 744. I added the word accountant, it took it down to 22. I've now selected an industry accounting, it's taken me down to 7. So those are 7 people that I could now go and speak to Louise to and say, are you able to introduce me? Excellent. So we had a list of people there that I could go to Louise and ask Louise if she knows them. We can whittle them down and see who she could potentially introduce me to. So the next step then, having got maybe 1 or 2 people that we've identified, is actually how do we go about making the introduction? How do we start that conversation? And the first thing is to make it easy for Louise, because, you know, Louise is a busy lady. I'm asking her for a favour essentially, and also for the other person, for her contact. What's in it for them? You know, why should they speak to me? I recently experienced as well, somebody asked me to introduce them to someone who was a networking contact. More than happy to do so. And I said to them, what would you like me to say? And they said, oh, I don't mind, just make the introduction. And there's 2 things there. That A, it made it more difficult for me because I had to sort of write, why would I want to introduce you? What do you want me to say? But then he doesn't, or that person who asked me to make the introduction has no control over what I'm saying. And how do you want to be positioned to individuals? So I think it's a good idea to take control. Make it easy for the person who's going to make the introduction for you by giving them some text that they could use in an email that says what you do and how you help. And what they would do then, it may be your contact is happy and they don't even need that information, but you know, it does help them, doesn't it, to put something quickly together that they can then email that introduction over to their contact. But what's really important is that when Louise emails her contact with my introduction text, it actually copies me in the email. And the reason that's important is because as soon as I see that introduction email has gone, I can then go ahead and contact that connection of Louise's and say hi. So I put together some thoughts as to what I would want as an introduction paragraph, and it's all about, you know, what is it I do and how can I help businesses? And again, as I mentioned, it may be that your client won't need this and they're more than happy to, your client or your networking contact's more than happy to introduce you without having this text there, but it does, I think, just make it easier. So have a think about what your introduction paragraph would be. How would you want somebody to position you if they were making an introduction? So that takes me on to the third element of using LinkedIn to help enhance and extend networking, your face-to-face networking. And that's all about your activity on LinkedIn. So when you post content and when you engage by liking and commenting on other people's content and their posts and their articles, you're having conversation, you're having an online conversation. And, you know, it's amazing how you can get to know people on LinkedIn that you may have never met because you talk to them by having these sort of conversations and posting and commenting on what they're talking about. And for this particular thing, I think that hashtags are very much overlooked as an opportunity to help members of a networking group stay in touch and keep conversations going in between meetings. So, for example, the networking group that I'm a member of, Wakefield, the Business Network in Wakefield, there is a hashtag called TBN Yorkshire, which covers Wakefield, Leeds and York, so 3 different groups. And so what I said to people is, for everybody who posts content, if they use the hashtag TBN Yorkshire in the post, and then if every member of the networking group follows the hashtag TBN Yorkshire, and then every sort of, I don't know, it's daily maybe, but maybe not that often, but, you know, 2-3 times a week, go and have a look at the post. If you click on the hashtag, it'll bring up all the list of all the posts that have got TBN Yorkshire in it. And what that means is that we can easily engage on each other's posts, which increases reach, it increases visibility, just gets our names out there a little bit more. So I was just talking about how important second degree connections are. So when we're looking for introductions, so Louise is introducing me to her contacts. I'm posting content which I hope that the audience finds useful. She's engaging with it, but it also means that the potential for her network to actually see it, so the people she's introducing me to will also see that content. So it just adds all a nice little bit of, you know, cohesiveness and puts it all together, doesn't it? That's what I think anyway. So let's just go and have a look at how you follow a hashtag on LinkedIn. So I'm here on my homepage of my LinkedIn, and so just down the left hand side here, this bar here, you can see where it says recent. So this lists all my kind of hashtags that I've been looking at, the groups that I've been to. So there's a Business Network Yorkshire group there, that's the TBN Yorkshire, Women in Business hashtag, Yorkshire Ladies Links groups. So these are the groups I'm a member of. And then underneath that is more hashtags that I follow as well. So you can see there's quite a few. So if I was to click on the TBN Yorkshire, so if you follow a particular hashtag, it will appear over in this bar, and all you need to do is click on it, and it will go away, and as I say, it'll bring up all the posts that have got TBN, hashtag TBN Yorkshire in them. So here's Ellen, she posted something 14 hours ago. If I just click on see more, you can see all the hashtags that she's used here. So TBN Yorkshire. So she's got getting you noticed here, public relations. What if I wanted to follow one of these? All I'm going to do is click on and open that in a new window. Well, you don't have to open it. I could have just clicked on it. It's a habit. Habit I have. Just click on it. Might make it a little bit on the slow side now. So there you go. Here's this hashtag that Ellen also included in her post, hashtag getting you noticed. You see the follow? I just need to click on follow, and there you go. I'm now following that hashtag. So nice and easy to follow. Another way of doing hashtags is actually to type them up here in the basic search field. So for example, UK farming, hashtag UK farming, you can see here, and there's the word follow. So I can click on follow there. So dead easy to follow hashtags. And as I say, it really helps me. So I hope that was really useful. That was my view as how you could use LinkedIn to help enhance and extend your face-to-face networking. Do feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. Send me any questions via LinkedIn or via email if you prefer. And if you would like a copy of the ebook 1 Hour to LinkedIn Profile that gets you noticed, as I say, do please get in touch. Love to hear your comments and feedback, any thoughts as to how you think you could use LinkedIn or to improve your face-to-face networking. It'd be great to hear from you. Thanks very much.